Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. This is Rural Life and Sustainable Living and I am Jabulile aka Malushaba. I hope you guys are great. Here in South Africa it's been cold for the past couple of days, like freezing cold. Some areas have been experiencing snow for the first time. So I'm glad that today the sun is out. It's not as cold. It's not really cold. I just compared to the other days, and yeah, and at last I can actually record this video because yeah, it was really awful. It was bad. But here we are. Here we are. Yeah, so today I just wanted to talk about what exactly is what it means for me to be sufficient, because I realized that in the videos I'm talking about it, I'm referencing it, but I don't actually explain what it really is because I just thought, okay, like I'm saying these things with the assumption that we all actually get what it is, but I'm just gonna explain what self-sufficiency is from my perspective, or rather what it means for me. And also I'm gonna talk about financial freedom. It's kind of like for the way I view these things, it's sort of like how one would view success. For someone, success might be one thing, for another it might be another. So hence I'm saying this is from my perspective, or what it looks like for me. So it might financial freedom might look different for another person, and self-sufficiency might also look different for another person. But I think generally generally it should look somewhere along the lines of what I'm gonna be explaining now. um So, being self sufficient for me, when I think about what I would like for myself, is I want to live a life where I'm able to grow my own food. I'm able to basically sustain myself without needing to go outside and getting my basic needs. And for me, the basic needs that I need are shelter, clothes on my back, and food. Those are the basics. So what I mean by shelter, because someone might say, but we all are living somewhere. But if you're living under a bridge, like, I don't know, is that, like, are you really being self-sufficient? Is that shelter? Or if you are renting somewhere, is that really, is that shelter? Are you being self-sufficient in the sense that, can the landlord not come and tell you tomorrow that, look, I'm selling this house, or look, you need to move out tomorrow, and then now you need to find another place? Whereas when you have your own property or your own place, shelter, safe shelter, that is safe shelter, that you do not owe anybody. So no one can come tomorrow or today and come to you and say, well, I'm here to get my house, or leave my house, that type of a thing. So that's that. On the part of having being able to have to provide myself with clothes. So for me, that means I need to be able to make my own clothes without needing to depend on a shop to to provide me with clothes. What would happen if tomorrow all the shops closed, and or rather, maybe for whatever reason, like in the pandemic, we couldn't buy this because this was not an essential service or essential item that you would need, so we couldn't buy certain things. What would happen in those cases where maybe you don't even have warm clothes. We had to depend on our government to tell us, okay, you can go and buy, because now we're approaching winter. Only winter clothes can be sold. Whereas if you're able to make your own clothes, you can determine, whether you want to make this or that. No one, you're not depending on someone to actually allow you or give you permission. You can make your own clothes. You can literally make anything anytime. Of course, you would need fabric, but that's a side thing. You can always buy fabric anytime, and just I've had fabric that I've had for years, and only now I'm like, okay, now I think I can use this fabric. I can. But I mean, we can take it further and even say, being able to even make your own fabric. But I'm not even gonna go there. But just the basic need of having clothes on your back, you need to know how to make your own clothes. And that's that. Me rather, I felt that is something, that is a skill that I need to learn, and I have that skill. I can do that. I can crochet, I can knit, I can make my own shoes even. So that is also yeah. So I cover, so this covers that as well. And then food, food, knowing how to grow your own food, that is like super super important. Again, I think if no one like really saw this whole thing as a wake up call, this whole pandemic thing, like, then I don't know what wake up call you need. But you know we were, during that time of the pandemic, that is when we were moving and starting to build. In any case, just implementing things that we wanted to implement for a long time. But for me, it was just that, imagine if this thing was like prolonged, like it wasn't it if it didn't like end when it ended, and they didn't start opening up uh um the different services that we were not allowed to get and all of that. But can you imagine if you were just not ready? And a lot of us were not ready, to be honest. A lot of us were not ready. We have seeds, we've been storing seeds and all of that, but a lot of things were not set up yet. And I mean, like, can you imagine if there was like a complete shutdown? Like a complete shutdown, where do you start? So for me, I feel like these are things that we need to start doing and learning to do, because we cannot, if there's one thing we there's if there's one thing that I have learned, is that you just never know. You cannot say no. We'll always be taken care of by our government. We'll always be taken care of by the powers that be. um you need to take the power into your own hands, and that is what this is for me. It's just me saying, we've given power away, in terms of for our lives. We've given power away to other people, and we're so dependent on other people to provide us with food, provide us with clothes, provide us with this and that and that. Whereas these are things that should be basic things that we know how to do ourselves. We are not depending on some, because literally, should there be a shutdown, we are in trouble. We are so in trouble. So for me, that is what self-sufficiency is. You need to be able to sustain yourself, when it comes to just the basic needs that you have: food, shelter, clothing. And I think if you've got that covered, then yeah, another pandemic can come and you would still have food. You would still have shelter. You wouldn't be stranded. Basically, you would have the power in your hands to take care of yourself without depending on an outside source. And then financial freedom. Financial freedom for me is, I literally felt that self-sufficiency and financial freedom are like linked. They go together. I feel like it's really hard for you to have one without the other, or somehow if you have one, like how do you even, you can have self-sufficiency, not exactly, somehow I feel that they are tied together. um so I feel like financial freedom is being debt free, number one, and also not necessarily saying that you shouldn't have a job where you get income, but I feel like financial freedom means that you need to be in a position where even if your job is taken away, your salary is taken away, you wouldn't die. You would still live, and you'd still live a good life. Yeah, I'll use that word. You'd still live a good life, or a life that meets the standards that you want for yourself. um so hence I say they go together. Like if you lose your job, if you're not self-sufficient, what are you gonna do, you know? So I feel like financial freedom is being debt free, being able to 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 come up with your own income, because the reality is that we do live in a world, in a system that requires us to have money. I cannot, it would be difficult. Let me say you cannot, because there's nothing that's impossible. It would be very difficult for me, say, to travel from here and say go see my parents in Limpopo without money. I need money to get from here to there. I feel like you work towards financial freedom. It doesn't just happen. You work towards it, whether it's you making the right decisions when it relates to as it relates to your investments, your savings, and um just also how basically you live your life. You're not going into debt, and you can um you live without your within your means, if not below your means, but not necessarily to say you don't enjoy your life. You, of course you do, but if for example it's like you saying, okay, I'd like to retire at 40, and I'm going to save X amount of money. I'm going to make sure that I don't have debt, so that this amount of money, I can say that when I retire at 40, this money can sustain me until whatever years. But I always feel like with that, because you don't know how long you're gonna live, but with that, you have to also come up with ways for you to still, in my opinion, to still add to your income. Because I can't say, okay, no, I'm gonna save 1 million, and then I'm gonna live on 1 million. Like, you don't know how long you're gonna live. And also you'd have to have other things in place, so you're not just, because once you take out 1,000 rands from 1 million, it's no longer 1 million, it's going down. So I feel you have, with financial freedom, being debt free, being able to live within your means, also being able to sustain yourself financially without needing a salary, or not needing a lot in terms of income, because you have money saved up, or you are self-sufficient, so you don't have a bill to go for, you don't have like a bill for your food. Maybe you also generate your own energy, so you don't have an electricity bill. Maybe you have a borehole, or you harvest rainwater, so you don't have a bill for water. So you are not so dependent on money like that. Yes, you need money, but you're not so dependent also on money. You can live off your land, and through the skills that you have or whatever that you can come up with to generate income without needing someone to do an exchange with someone. Like they employ you, and then you work X amount of hours, and then they pay you a salary. Like, I hope I make sense. I really hope I make sense, but that's what it is to me. And yeah, I hope I make sense. And see you in the next in the next video. And if you have any questions, do put them in the comment section, and also you can email me at rural life and sustainable living at gmail.com. So that's rural life and sustainable living at gmail.com. I hope you enjoyed the video.